Just wait for the.
Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Cocaine?
Surfing?
What's up, everybody? You're listening to yet another edition of Cocaine Willie. I am your commissioner, Bob Trollsby, and we are the official K-State representative on the College Huddle. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, the good chef, the great chef, Andre Napier, and the legendary Fireball Matt Marchestini. Today, whenever this drops, I don't know when this is going to drop yet, we are doing another edition of everybody's favorite show from last year, which was our locks extravaganza, but we're adding a little twist. We are also doing our Big 12 fantasy picks for the week, and we're going to talk about why we're picking who we're picking. But locks, as we all know, takes some time. So we're going to talk about our locks. We're going to talk about each of those matchups. But first, this show is brought to you by Annie Mae's Parlor, located at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville in Manhattan, Kansas. As you can see here from the koozie, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary, although rumor does have it that they were a speakeasy way back in the day, selling alcohol or providing maybe free alcohol to the fine residents of the city of Manhattan when the federal government didn't allow it. But it is an absolute must visit in Aggieville on game days and school nights alike. It's also where I had my first legal alcoholic beverage, a John Daly, way back in the early year of 2013. The year
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Put it on. Annie Mae's is far and away my favorite destination in Aggieville, and I always make a point to go visit my auntie every time I come back to the Little Apple. They feature a wide variety of craft cocktails, draft beers, and everything in between, along with entertainment like live music, comedy, and all sorts of other events every single week, including trivia. They do trivia every Wednesday. Trivia last night, was a fundraiser for Prairie Paws, and next week they're going to be doing some other stuff. So if you want to find out what it is, check out their website, www.anniemays.com. And again, visit your auntie, 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville, and be sure to tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. Maybe order a John Daly, even though it's not on the menu anymore. We'll see if they make it. And tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. This show is also brought to you by Pat's Beef Jerky, located at 401 Main Street in Liebenthal, Kansas. Pat's Beef Jerky has been serving up the finest beef jerky in the Midwest for 34 years strong, and they feature mouthwatering flavors like the classic beef jerky, teriyaki beef jerky, and my personal favorite, the savory beef pepper sticks. There are 3 places where you can get yourself some Pat's Beef Jerky. You can pick it up in person at either the Fridge Liquor Store in Manhattan or at their original store at 401 Main Street in Liebenthal, Kansas. Last but not least, you can get your Pat's Beef Jerky online at www.patsbeefjerky.com. And if you use the promo code CATS at checkout, you'll receive 10% off of your next order. So go use the promo code CATS. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that on the banner at the bottom. At checkout, get 10% off your order and visit patsbeefjerky.com to place your order today. Gentlemen, it's game week. We are so back.
He's alive.
We're live. Chef's alive. Chef is currently ad-libbing his picks.
What's up, brother?
I've got him already established. Don't do that to me.
Jeff never reads the outline.
I do homework when it's absolutely necessary. And I mean, this first week, I think I'm going to start off hot. Maybe this is what I need to do throughout this full season, and just free ball it, and maybe I'll actually not wear the bag as much this time.
Okay.
Well,
so
we'll see.
So we're free ball. I mean, Matt, do you have your bag since? No, it would be Chef. Chef, do you have your bag since you were last place in the standings last year?
What's up? I have a bag. I don't have holes in it. Hold on.
Oh, you don't have the bag still? Well, just as a quick refresher for everybody, we're gonna start with our week 1 locks because Chef is still filling his out, and Matt and I will go ahead and get ours done first, I guess. But to recap last year's standings, I was the winner. Round of applause, quick round of applause for everybody. I was the winner for the 2023 season with a 63-53-0 record. Matt finished second with a 59-55-2 record. And Chef gloriously placing last, third on the gold or the bronze medal podium, and batting 500 with a 57-57-2 record overall. Although win percentage wise, a little lower than 500. So, Chef, I guess to get us started off, what kind of motivation do you have coming into this season, knowing that you finished last in locks last year?
It's really sad because I feel like I'm the true ball knower of, Cocaine Willie. I mean, I don't want to talk too much shit, but I'm proud of myself because I know ball and I should be able to make these picks no problem. There's no reason why I'm hovering at 500. What am I, a pedestrian program? Fire that coach, get him out of there. We got a new guy in, and I'm gunning for that 700 mark this year.
Here's the deal, though, man. You do know ball, and I don't know ball, but I know vibes, and I've got vibes heading into this week that we'll get into. But Matt, I guess as the silver medalist from last year,
damn,
what are you thinking heading into this season, and how does it feel knowing that you still have to get a few wins to surpass my all-time record, knowing I'm locks champion 2 years running?
I just want to beat Chef. I just want to beat Chef. I don't care if I lose. Chef. I don't care if I lose to you by 20 games, but if I beat Chef by 1, it is a absolute. It is an
rent free. It's absolute rent free. I am
rent free. Oh, I'm the ball knower. Okay.
You gotta have faith in yourself, dude. I got too many clips to not know ball, man. I am the ball knower.
Whatever helps you. You do have clips.
You do.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
You do have clips.
Whatever.
Well, let's get into our locks. I'll kick it off as the reigning defending champion. I'm going to kick off locks for this season, and I'm going to start same format. So if you're new to the show, we're going to explain the format. If you're old to the show, if you've been listening like Will the Thrill for 3 years running now, this is our third season, football season that we're doing, then you'll know the format. But we're going to start with 3 Big 12 games, 1 national game, and then 1 sicko game. And all 3 of us are going to pick, sometimes the same game, sometimes the same game, sometimes different. But kicking it off with 3 Big 12 games, my first pick was West Virginia plus 8.5 versus Penn State. I don't believe in Penn State. I've never believed in Penn State. I will never believe in Penn State. I think West Virginia is returning a very solid team this year. Garrett Green is one of the better returning quarterbacks in the Big 12. They played that Penn State team very close last year for a majority of that game. And for whatever reason, West Virginia just couldn't close it out. They couldn't get over that. They couldn't get over that hump.
That was without Garrett Green, too. He wasn't the starter at the beginning of that year, too, right?
I believe you're right.
So, I mean, he had a dynamic season for not even starting a full season with West Virginia. I could see this happening, but I am more of a believer in the Andy Kotelnicki, Drew Aller train than most. So I don't agree.
Brown knows that offense.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. But West Virginia versus KU was not always the greatest thing. He's not been the greatest against KU in his time there.
Oh, you watch it. I'm going to Winsipedia.com and looking at KU has 2 wins, and their last win was last year.
Yeah.
So, but they only lost. West Virginia only lost that game by 7 or no. Shit. They lost by 13 points. Okay. But I'm still going with West Virginia. I do not give a shit. West Virginia plus 8.5. Hammer it. My next matchup, we talked about it ad nauseum on our Big 12 predictions episode last week. I'm going with South Dakota State plus 9.5 at Oklahoma State. You got to go big or go home. And if any FCS team, granted, I do think BYU probably has a fairly good shot to lose this next weekend. But if you're going to go with any FCS game, upset over an FBS team, South Dakota State, knowing that Oklahoma State starts slow, knowing that South Dakota State is the defending national champions, they're going to come into Stillwater with something to prove, and they're going to want to beat the crap out of Mike Gundy and Alan Bowman at starting quarterback for the Oklahoma State Cowpokes. So I'm going with the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State to cover 9.5 points. And
Man,
then go ahead.
Does that feel like Oklahoma State's 2013 versus North Dakota State?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, coming off of a Big 12 title berth, obviously we won the Big 12 in 2012. But
no title game. No title game.
Right. But 2013, you come in with, some substantial hype, returning some players.
Jake Waters was all the rage in 2013.
Yeah, and then
Daniel Sams.
And then the defending national champion comes into your home building and curb stomps you. So don't get Ed Norton, Oklahoma. Don't get
Chris
Ed
Kleiman, Norton. Joe Klanderman. Those guys, they came in, they stomped us, they beat us. My final Big 12 game. Dude, this was the hard thing about this week is so many of these games were hard to pick because the lines are so massive for so many of them. Like, I don't feel confident in Baylor 26.5. I don't feel confident in the Houston UNLV line. I don't feel confident in like any of these, but I did feel pretty confident in Texas Tech minus 32.5 versus Abilene Christian University, my wife's alma mater, and Sharkandrick West's alma mater as well. Go Chiefs. But I'm taking Tech. I love the Red Raiders. I think 32.5 is easier to cover than 37.5. So give me the Red Raiders. They are playing in Adidas uniforms for the first time ever after a very long slog wearing Under Armour. So I think they're going to have that jersey swag. They're going to be hyped up. Go Red Raiders.
I like that.
Thoughts, feedback, questions? No. Okay.
They suck.
Hey,
all right,
easy, Matt. You're fired up today.
Okay. My national game. I am picking. I fucking hate these guys. The Texas A&M Aggies minus 2.5 versus Notre Dame. They're playing it at Kyle Field. Notre Dame is always overrated every single year. Wow, and this is Colin Klein. It's Colin Klein's offense. He's going up against a team that he interviewed with that he ended up not going to. And this is a recharged, re-energized Texas A&M team that's probably going to win 10 games this season because Mike Elko's a damn good coach. Jimbo Fisher was total just, wet blanket of a head coach.
Wet blankie? No way. I mean, what is the Notre Dame thing is always confusing to me. What is Notre Dame supposed to be rated? What should they be rated?
I think they're going to be good this year.
Middle
what?
At best. Sam Hartman ain't there anymore.
Riley Leonard, though.
He got hurt halfway through the season last year.
But
he's going up against a coach. He's going up against a coach who literally game planned for him for 4 years.
I mean,
he's going to know all his flaws.
Yeah. Look,
I think Notre Dame gets a bad rap. I love a good brother coach, so I hope he pulls it out.
So I'm racist now for picking.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh my God.
Start the rumors now.
I didn't. Never said that. Never said that. I think Notre Dame gets a bad rap for being, a consistent 10-win team every year.
Yeah, because they play middle of the pack ACC teams every year. Okay, cool. I don't see
that's
it.
fair. That's fair. I mean, I'm not going to knock the schedule. I'm not going to knock it.
And I think Texas A&M is going to have to ease in the season a little bit. Like, you have a new coaching staff. That's a tough game. It's a tough game.
Will Lee has
Colin
something.
Klein looks stressed, man. He looks stressed while he's there, brother.
Who's
I don't know.
He's aged 5 years in the last 6 months.
Isn't it Whitman? Not Whitman. Damn, what is
Wegman.
that?
Connor
Wegman. Former 5-star.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not my pick, so
Oh.
you can
Team
take
one,
that
I
one.
think, didn't they win 7 games last year without a head coach? Basically.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hate A&M more than I hate Satan sometimes. So
Oh my
but
god.
it says a lot for
Satan's
me.
a-
It says a
Satan's a
lot for
bad
me.
guy.
It says a lot for me to pick A&M, but I'm going with A&M here. And my sicko game, Chef, you'll enjoy this one. Miami of Ohio plus 2.5 at Northwestern.
The real you. The real you.
Northwestern is what? Aren't they playing at like a high school stadium or something right now?
No,
while
they
they're
built
Yeah,
they built a stadium.
They built a
On the
practice
shore.
facility.
Is it fully built though?
Oh yeah,
It's only
they had
one
pictures of
side.
it.
Yeah, there's only one side, and the other side's bleachers. So it is a real like.
So they're playing
It's a
on the
real-
beach.
They
Yeah.
are.
It's nuts. There's going to be no home atmosphere for that, so I do love this pick. Was it Miami of Ohio or no? That was Bowling Green last year that beat an ACC team. But Miami of Ohio,
They're
Oxford's
picked to
no
win the
place.
MAC this
Yeah, Oxford, Ohio, they're producing some players, man. So shout out to the Red Hawks.
The Red
If they pull that down, that would be real fun for
Home of-
our doppelganger in Big Ten country, the Northwestern. What are they? Wildcats. Shout out to the Wildcats.
Purple Wildcats, and their
Yeah.
mascot is also Willie the
Willie the
Wildcat.
Wildcat. All right.
The real ball knower. Here he comes.
Here we
Oh,
go.
nowhere.
Strap in. Big 12 picks. Big 12 picks. Stanford +9 hosting the Horned Frogs. TCU going up to Stanford. Huge home atmosphere for Stanford.
Yeah, they haven't started their trimester yet.
Oh my god, what is happening?
That was a joke, Chef.
Okay.
My God.
It's also it's a quick flight from Los Angeles, which is where all the TCU alumni live.
Oh, interesting. I didn't say that. But Stanford 9-point underdog against TCU. I think Stanford covers the 9. Houston is a 2.5-point favorite at home against UNLV. First game of the Willie Fritz era. I don't know. I have a feeling Houston's going to win by 3 points, and they call it a day. I don't know anything about UNLV. Sorry. Run
So
Rebels.
you picked UNLV plus 2.5 or
no?
Oh yeah, no. I was looking at Houston.
Houston -2.5, and then if you remember from last week's show, I said Colorado is going to start the season 0-2, and that does mean that North Dakota State is going to cover 10 against Colorado
in 2 days. Let's go on a Thursday.
In 2 days.
This
Thursday
is
night.
tonight as this
Actually,
episode.
apologies.
Yeah. Wow. Chef just ruined it for everybody.
Future hot.
Yeah. But I don't buy a lot about Colorado. I could totally be wrong and they win by 20 points. But North Dakota State is a team that no matter who's the head coach, they have their team ready to go in these situations and play them close. So even if North Dakota State does not win this game, I feel like they will cover 10 points in Boulder on tonight.
Some could say the same about the South Dakota State team that's coming.
Some could say that, but there's a reason why I didn't pick that. But anybody can say anything these days. National game. I'm picking a Sunday night slobber knocker in Las Vegas. LSU taking the 4.5. They are 4.5-point favorites against Lincoln Riley, that brisket boy, Lincoln Riley.
Brisket boy.
This is a great pick.
I think LSU is going to be underrated in the SEC this year. And I think Brian Kelly is going to have him ready to go. But I also don't believe in Lincoln Riley having a team ready to go in this game. I don't know if Miller Moss, that's his name, right? Miller.
That's
something.
their new quarterback.
That's their quarterback. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be up to the challenge in this game. I think Lincoln Riley is going home, losing by 14 points in this one.
Miller Moss sounds like an accounting firm.
Miller Moss does sound like an accounting firm. That's a good one.
Miller Moss.
My sicko game of the week, I'm going to Amherst, UMass.
Oh, the U.
The other U.
the real U.
UMass is a 2.5-point favorite against Eastern Michigan at home. I'm going with the Minutemen. Let's go. Frank Martin, get that football team in shape. Even though that's not your team.
No. Yeah, who is their football coach?
I don't. You couldn't even tell me.
Michigan.
Eastern Michigan.
Oh God,
their football coach.
That's the green one, right?
Don Brown, who's the most football coach looking motherfucker I've ever.
I thought you were going to say Don Staley.
Look Don at Brown. He's probably big and has glasses.
No, but let me.
Mustache.
She's got an amazing mustache. Look at this
guy.
My
God.
Look at Don Brown. That is.
My God.
That's like Mike Ditka reincarnated.
He could sell me a 1999 Honda Accord.
That's what Mike Ditka looks like right now. Pull his body out of the ground, and that's what he looks like.
More like what Mike Ditka looked like 15 years ago.
God. UMass. The U.
So you picked the U. I picked Miami of Ohio. Chef, who do you have this week?
Okay, we'll go to those Big 12 games. This is the new season, so I'm not going to don the bag and everybody's starting fresh. I got South Dakota State, like we did in our pick previews. I think South Dakota State is going to put up a fight there. If they win, I think that's what's going to happen. But 10 points. I mean, Ollie Gordon, is he questionable? What's going on there in Oklahoma and Stillwater? So yeah, I got South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits going in there. I think they're pulled the upset. Then it's, me and Matt, we just kind of do not see eye to eye. I got UNLV. I think they're tough. They didn't handle KU. They lost to KU in the bowl game, but they're coming back, and I think they're projected to win their conference, if I'm not mistaken. There are a tough son of a bitch out there in Vegas. So I got UNLV winning that game as well as point dogs. Then we go to Stanford, and I guess me and Matt do agree on something. Stanford, the trees out there, blowing a little tree. I'm not a fan of Hoover. Not a fan of Hoover at TCU. He sucks real bad. So
that was a vacuum joke, Chef.
Damn it, I missed that one too. Damn it. Yeah. Let's go Stanford plus the 9 points. Come on now. Let's go. Stanford Cardinal. They're a color, for God's sakes. And then we're going opposite again on Matt's picks out in Vegas. I think USC is going to shred apart that sorry-ass LSU defensive backfield. Their DBs are terrible, dude.
What the hell is USC's defense going to do to LSU's offense?
They hired the defensive coordinator from UCLA, and they're in Los Angeles.
What did UCLA do the last however many years in defense? They had Chip Kelly, for God's sake.
They had a solid defense last year. But yeah, so I think USC is going to be able to turn it around. Nussmeier from LSU, they don't have Jalen Daniels back there anymore. So, and they lost a lot of receiver production at LSU. Not sold on Brian Kelly at LSU right now. Not saying that they're not going to be able to accomplish some things, but this very first game, neutral site, closer to USC, I think that fans are going to pack it in there. Give me USC. Give me USC plus the points.
As a neutral party, I take back what I said on UCLA's defense last year. They gave the most points they gave up last year was 36.
Lincoln Riley's track record with hiring defensive coordinators is
not great. Not great, but I think he did get rid of his longtime buddy at defensive coordinator. He's taking the steps. He got rid of Grinch, so I think he's taking the steps. He's finally saying, I can't have my buddies calling defense for me anymore. Got to get rid of them. I think he's turning a new leaf. Let's see if it happens. I don't know.
Can't have my buddies calling plays anymore.
And then my sicko game, I think you guys can debate this or not, but I think it's from a Kansas State perspective, you've got to be a real sick bastard to watch Will Howard play Akron at 48.5-point favorites. And I'm going to take him because this is Joe Burrow reincarnated at USC. This is where the Heisman train starts. You got to beat Akron by 1 million. And
So you got it at 48.5?
That's what I got it at.
I was looking yesterday and it was 50.5, and I was like, I can't do that. I watched the Youngstown State game last year. I can't take 50 points for Ohio State.
I got 48.5. Ohio State winning this game. We'll see how many. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Will Howard he's doesn't have to be Superman in this, so we'll see if he even slings the ball 15 yards down the field. He might not. He might not need to.
2:30 on Saturday. That's prime tailgate time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can, pull the game up on the radio and pull it to 97.1 The Fan and the Columbus broadcast and listen to who calls those games. I'm not sure anymore, but man, Ohio State fans they're hype over here. They're telling you.
I got a Sudoku puzzle to finish, so I'm gonna have to miss that one.
You got to be a real sicko. You got to be a real sicko.
Yeah.
That is a very sicko pick.
48.5 points. That is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, but they have Will Howard, right?
Who's calling him the next incarnation of Joe Burrow?
Brother.
I heard that.
Who is saying that
today? I heard that on.
Hold on.
Like, this is not a bag on Will Howard. Because I think he's going to be really good at Ohio State, but I need to understand where this comparison's coming from.
It's all over,
it's
man.
Coming from Ohio State fans.
You gotta go to Buckeye Twitter, man.
They were like jilted lovers or whatever with Joe Burrow, and then he went on and had a great career at LSU. I don't know, man.
This is wild to me. This is wild.
Oh,
good luck, Will.
Okay.
Those are my picks. Yeah. Let's see where they end up.
Those are our locks. We're now going to move on to week 1 fantasy starters, and our fantasy segment this year is going to be sponsored by Anime's Parlor again. Visit Anime at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville and tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. We'll do this snake draft style. So we'll start with Chef for his fantasy starters, then we'll do Matt, and then I'll finish it off. So Chef, you kick us off.
Okay, I'll put my quarterback in there for one of his 3 starts. I'm going Noah Fafita. They play absolutely nobody.
I thought it was 4 starts.
No, there's
12 games and we have 3 quarterbacks.
Okay, 4 starts. Sorry, apologies. Math, not a math pod. All right. So I'm going Noah Fafita in my quarterback spot. It's going to show out. I think this is where he's going to garner a lot of points. Throw it up to McMillan. Let's see what this Arizona offense looks like under a new coaching staff. I think this is where they got to establish it early, and Noah Fafita is going to put some points up.
So you're not worried about Bronco Mendenhall and the fact that he had a complete collapse last week against Montana State.
I think that's going to be
in Albuquerque.
I think that's going to be more in line with what Arizona wants to happen. Late night, 10:30,
and they don't have Alec Marenko anymore. So,
oh God, I don't think we do either. So,
captain on defense.
Okay, then we'll go to running back. Devin Neal, obvious choice versus is this a community college that they're playing? Who is this? Do you guys have any insights on this program of Lindenwood? Yeah.
So Lindenwood used to play against Washburn and Pitt State, and they were what is that league in D2?
I have no idea.
Lindenwood, Pitt State Conference. Pitt State Conference. Pitt State Gorillas, D2. They are in the MIAA.
Oh, my God.
The Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletics Association.
They're like in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, I think no, they are in the Missouri side because that's where the Lindenwood camp is where all those recruits go.
Yeah.
There's a big Lindenwood camp that K-State.
They're in the Big
Yeah.
South now, though. They're in the Big South.
The Big South OVC
Yes,
that
Big
our
South
friend, our
OVC.
friends at
I'm pretty
UT
sure they're in
Martin
St.
also-
Louis.
and SEMO is also in.
But yeah, Devin Neal could go nutty. I think this one could get. I mean, it could go backfire on me. He could only have like 12 rushes in the game and pull them early. Don't know how it's going to work out, but I think if there's ever a time where he could bust 2 80-yard runs, I think this is the competition that he's going to be able to do it against. Then at receiver, I'm going Noel, and it's a risk.
Noel.
It's a risk versus a salty North Dakota team, but Rocco Beck also getting a lot of hype this year. Matt Campbell, can he get off those early bird jitters where they're not losing to OU and all those kind of teams? They've got a 95.8% chance on ESPN to win. I think they're going to be able to sling that rock around. Rocco Beck, give my boy Noel the rock. 15 catches. I'm expecting something like that. Then tight end, gotta go Oak Dog. Big Oak Dog in the back of the end zone. Avery, that might be the first touchdown of the year. Might put a slight money line on the not money line. Might put a slight bet on that one. That Oak is the first touchdown recipient. I love Oak. He's a big bodied. I've heard that they were conserving him in camp though. Lofton's getting some run, Swanee's getting some run. Hopefully he's healthy enough to be utilized as a big aspect of the game for kids. And then
aspect.
Yeah, ass. And then Oklahoma State's defense. It's not going to bode well because I think they're going to lose to South Dakota State, but that doesn't matter. It's my only defense.
Oh my God. Oh man. Well, good luck. You think that South Dakota State's going to beat Oklahoma State, so you're screwed this week, aren't you?
It's just the first week, and then they rebound next week. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. It's week to week. All right. I feel like week one is very tough for this because you have to try and find players that you hope will play a good majority of the game to help you out. Or I'm picking what I would perceive as like my lower tier positions so I can save.
So all of them.
Okay. All right. We'll see about that. So at quarterback, I'm starting Rocco Becht.
I just hyped him up, baby. Let's go.
Iowa State playing North Dakota. He's going to go off 4 touchdowns in the first half, and he'll be sitting the rest of the game.
All to Noel.
All to whoever Noel is playing with. Hopefully not to him. Running back, I'm going Taj Brooks, playing Abilene Christian. I had Ollie Gordon, as everybody knows. I'm not playing Ollie this week. I don't know why. I think because I felt Taj Brooks had a better matchup.
Okay. Yeah.
Kobe Hudson and the UCF Knights playing New Hampshire. New Hampshire has been pretty good in FCS.
I looked at UCF's Too Deep the other day when our boy Dolly was, dropping pics of that. I couldn't find Kobe Hudson on there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't. I lost them. Maybe it was me, but I didn't see him on there. It was probably
was you. Oh man. Now I'm nervous. Now I'm nervy. I can change
maybe he's wide receiver 1. I don't know, but
this sucker better be wide receiver 1. I'm gonna lose it. Tight end. I'm going Malik Hall, Houston.
Ooh, let's go.
Because I think it will be a battle with UNLV. And then my defense is Utah. I don't even know who the hell Utah's playing.
Some scrubs,
right? I don't know who Utah's playing. But
Utah is playing Southern Utah.
Southern Utah. Oh,
Okay,
week
we're
one,
back to that.
week
Directional
one
Utah.
UCF depth chart, wide receiver, Kobe Hudson.
Okay, he's on there. Good,
You
good.
son of a biscuit.
I'm glad I got you to sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I am sweating.
There
Go
you
for
go.
it, Bob.
Okay, so my week one starters. So my thought process at quarterback was this guy's probably going to play less than 6 games this season. He's probably going to start the season and then get hurt and then not play the rest of it. So I'm going to get the most out of Jalen Daniels, Heisman candidate Jalen Daniels, who's going to put 5 touchdowns up on Lindenwood and light the world on fire. And we're going to have ESPN and everybody and their fucking dog talking about Jalen Daniels because of what he did to Lindenwood. So I'm starting Jalen Daniels in game 1. Plus, when I look back at the history, Jalen Daniels has not had a good showing against bad opponents like Nevada last year.
He didn't
or
even play
Coastal
versus
Carolina.
Nevada, did he?
He did, and he did not play well. He had 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He might have gotten hurt in that game too. I don't know. He might not have finished that game. So I feel like he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's going to have something to prove. So
Chip
I'm
in
going
the
with
back.
the glass boy in week 1.
He's got a chip
Running
in the
back.
back. That's what he's got.
Running back, I'm going Dylan Edwards. My thought process with Dylan is, again, you can get him in a lot of different situations against UT Martin, whether that's as a kick returner, punt returner, whether that's as someone who's lining up in the slot, someone lining up in the backfield. I don't think we're going to play a ton of DJ Giddens. Plus, DJ Giddens, I think they're maybe going to try to ease him in this season since he's been wearing some of that non-contact or jersey type of thing. So I think they're going to maybe be a little heavier on Dylan Edwards and probably Jimmy White and Joe Jackson a little bit in this first game than they will be with DJ Giddens because we don't really need him. We don't really need DJ in this first game. So I'm going to put all my chips on Dylan Edwards in this game. And I don't know. It's against an FCS opponent. And I like what I heard from Davis about UT Martin. I think it's going to be more competitive than maybe a lot of people think it's going to be. But I love Dylan Edwards. I love his versatility. I love how dynamic he can be on the field. So I'm going with our new guy, Dylan Edwards. Wide receiver. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's going to be fun. I mean, just see Dylan out there just donning that 3. Oh, I'm buzzing, dude.
I'm going to save DJ for later in the year. Wide receiver, I've got Travis Hunter. Because if they're going to win that game against North Dakota State, they're going to have to rely on their star power. And Travis Hunter is one of those 3 stars that they've got. So I'm going with Travis Hunter against North Dakota State. A tight end, I've got Shimon Matire from Arizona State, formerly of Colorado, who I still thought was with Colorado when I picked him. And I think if Arizona State's going to have a chance to win a game this year, it's going to be their first game of the season because it's against Wyoming, and I just don't see them winning any other games this year. This is the only game I have them winning all year.
Wyoming ain't no joke, man. I'm telling you,
they don't have Kirk or they don't have Bowl anymore.
That's true.
He's gone.
That's true. But
they don't. I mean, cooking change. I don't know.
And then you got K-State with the shutout, right, on defense.
And I've got K-State's defense and special teams because I know at most they're going to give up 10 points, according to my prediction from the last pod.
Oh, I love that. Do we get any special teams touchdowns?
I would love that. That's another reason why I picked Dylan Edwards. I want to double dip.
Be Sterling Lockett instead.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I'll still get
that
points
would be fun
because I'm starting K-State special teams.
I have my expectations of K-State special teams this season is so low.
Remember, we also get their kickers. Remember, we get kickers too. So
no, I understand.
We have kickers and we have an NFL guy that came in to be a special teams coach. I understand.
I'm just saying. They can't go. They cannot go anywhere but up.
I agree, and that's why I'm.
Last season was really bad.
That's why I'm.
It was rough. It was rough.
Well, That's all
We'll
we had
see.
planned for this episode.
We'll
This feels
see.
like a really short episode for us for this week. I guess before before the UT Martin game happens.
Oh my god.
We've already given our score predictions, but what are you looking for out of this weekend in the matchup against UT Martin? Because obviously we're going to be interested to see how Avery does through two and a half, 3 quarters. But what else are you looking for? What kind of storylines are you thinking about for the UT Martin game? And what are you going to be watching?
Okay. Offensively, I'm looking for physicality on the offensive line. I want to see, because we lost Cooper Beebe. He was probably the most physical offensive lineman I've seen ever at K-State. I mean, constantly trying to put people in the dirt, bury people. Do we have somebody that can replace that? I mean, not necessarily be an All-American like Cooper Beebe was, but do we have guys that want to go out there and absolutely crush the opponent in front of us? I think Carver Willis, he said it perfectly in his media breakout. He wants to be technically sound, but extremely freaking violent. And I love the sound of that. So if Carver Willis and that gang and Hadley Panzer are that, unit that is absolutely burying people, that's what I'm looking for offensively. And defensively, man, I want to see who is going to be the playmaker. Like, Jordan Riley, is he as physical and as fast and as nasty as everybody's saying he is? Because that would be so crazy to just have him out there. No gloves. He doesn't wear gloves in practice, which is crazy. Just wrist braces. And he's out there smacking people. Oh, my God. Long dreads, aesthetic, all of that noise. I want to see what this team is physically. Just the physicality of them. I want to see it. I got to see it. First game. Woo! Hyped up.
Oh, my God. I'm going to just say from a defensive perspective how our defensive line and our substitutions look in that game.
Okay.
Who's going to be out there in certain down situations is going to be very important for me to we see, who are the guys that are, we're bringing blitzes with, etc. So the defensive line is one of those areas that I'm pretty. I'm not saying a lot of people are high on this defense, and I think in the first game you have to show aggressiveness and you have to show where your talent is. On the offensive side, they could be in a position where they only use 30% of your offensive playbook. I mean, it's quite possible. But on the defensive side, I feel like there is a lot to prove. There's a lot more to prove there. And the defensive line is going to be kind of the first group that I look at. Are we able to get pressure to the quarterback? If we're going to be as good as we need to on the defensive side, we have to get the ability to get inside and sack a quarterback or make a quarterback make a bad play because we're bringing pressure.
Who's doing it? Who's doing it, Matt? Who? Tell me. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Who.
Well, I think, I mean, look, for this first game, with Brandon Mott, he's a little banged up, and is there the potential that he's going to be even playing in this first game? Who knows? So, are there going to be some surprises? I'm excited to be able to see, like a guy like Chitty, or even some of the younger guys that we've been hearing names like Ryan Davis. He's a name that's been brought up. So I'm very interested to just see who we're bringing out there on the first drive. And, what does the third down look like on the first drive? And,
Toby,
setting the tone. Yeah, Tobio, of course. So that's what I'm excited about in this first game, is seeing on the defensive side who we're bringing out there.
I like all of that. I think for me, it's going to be the depth across the board. So you've got, we've heard the last couple of weeks during camp is this team is super deep, especially on defense, but we've got a fairly deep running back room, but we haven't seen it necessarily from guys like Joe Jackson. We've kind of seen it a little bit in the bowl game from Jimmy White, LeJames White, and quarterback depth. I want to see what Taquan Roberson has to offer, because we're not going to see Avery Johnson from wire to wire. Knock on wood, we're not going to. So I want to see what Roberson has to offer. I want to see a guy wearing a jersey with the last name Roberson on it, throwing a touchdown pass or rushing for a touchdown pass. I think that's going to be legit. I think that's an underrated thing that maybe we need to look out for. And I would also love to see, if it gets to this point, a guy like a Blake Barnett come in, or a guy like Jacob Knuth come in,
Okay,
and
yeah,
see
there
what
we
we
go.
have. I want to see what we have at third string for quarterback. So if it is that much of a blowout, I would love to see the third string come in, because we've seen situations in the past where we had, I'm already forgetting his name because he's at Illinois State now, but the guy
Jake
that
Rubley.
yeah, Rubes. We've already seen situations where Rubes has come into games in the past. So I want to see what the third string looks like for quarterback specifically, because that's the future. We're already kind of contingency planning as fans for there to be 2 seasons of Avery. So what do we have behind him, knowing that we have 1 year of Roberson?
I don't know if we'll get third string, just because
I don't
last
know.
year it was a 45-0, and
No,
we
I know.
got to Avery, and then that was it.
I know. Trust me, but I would like to see it. That's what
Okay,
I'm going to
yeah.
be watching for. And then the last one is offensive line. So I think this is an offensive line where they have had to be the guys rotating in for the most part, when you take out Taylor Poitier and Easton Kilty coming in from North Dakota. But I'm curious to see what the guys behind that first string of offensive line look like when you think about like a Gus Hawkins, Caden, those guys from this last recruiting class that were some of the highly, like 6'6", 6'7" offensive linemen. I want to see how many rotations some of those guys get, because we've been thinking about those guys for a long time, and they're the future. And I'm hoping that they can become the next, KT Cooper, like the next core of offensive linemen that come in. I love Carver Willis, family friend of my wife's family, but I'm also excited to see what we have next, knowing that Carver's been waiting for a long time, knowing that some of these other guys have been waiting a long time to get their turn. So I'm just excited about the future of the OL. I'm also thinking kind of thunder and lightning. I'm curious to see, along with the offensive line, I'm curious to see in the trenches how the defensive line does. How many more snaps does Damian Ilalio get over Uso Seumalo?
That's a good
If
storyline.
if at all, because we were not surprised necessarily to see him come at first in the depth chart, but we've also heard great things about how Uso's been practicing lately. So I'm just curious to see what the split looks like at the nose there a little bit. I'm curious to see how the edge works out, because I've already called Toby Sami leading the team in sacks this year. I think I was the first to do it. And I'm excited to see him come in and use that track speed, use that athleticism to get off the edge quickly and get to the quarterback. So I'm curious to see, does he have a sack? Does Chidi have a sack in this game? How many sacks do they get in this game? I'm beyond excited for those two guys and to see what they're going to bring to the table. And then more the lightning side of it, we've been thinking about Dylan Edwards for a long time now. We've been thinking about Dylan Edwards since he transferred, and long before that. I always kind of had this pipe dream of, man, maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe he comes home. So Dylan, as a returner, but also as a wide receiver, also as a running back, I'm so excited to see what he can bring to the table. Wide receiver, is Keegan legit? Is he back? Is he healthy? I'm curious to see how many real, how many targets is he going to get in this game? And is he going to be able to get some big yardage gains? Is he going to be able to get some yards after contact type of stuff? And then Cephas. Is he Kent State Cephas, or is he Penn State Cephas? That's another thing I'm looking out for. And again, this is not necessarily the best litmus test for all of those things, but you're going to be able to see in a vacuum how they game plan for an opponent, how they integrate some of those guys into the offense and the defense. And then my last point is play calling. Connor Riley is a second-time play caller, and he's got a co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach in Matt Wells, and we've been talking about it all off season. He's new to the staff, but he comes from more that air raid spread type of dynamic. What kind of wrinkles are we going to see in the offensive play calling from Matt Wells that divert or differ from the Messingham, Klein, Snyder way of doing things, where it's 5 yards in a cloud of dust type of thing? So those are, depth, thunder and lightning, and play calling are kind of the three things I'm looking out for this weekend.
All right, last thing I've got before we get out of here. Avery, over 2.5 touchdowns. Throwing. Sorry.
Oh,
Over 2.5
passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Passing?
say, ooh, I'll say over. I'll say he's 3.
Okay. Matt,
I'll say
over.
under. I'll say
And
2 throwing, 2 rushing, or 1 rushing.
I'm gonna go over as well. And my last one on the defensive side. Turnovers. Setting it at 2.5 as well.
Under.
Do you think we get under 2.5 turn? Okay.
Yeah.
How many did we have against SEMO?
That's a good question.
I don't
I'd probably
remember.
say 2.
Wait,
I'd probably
really?
say 2. Yeah. I think we had 2.
We had 1 against SEMO. I'm going to go under.
Yeah. Under.
Okay.
I'm ready, boys.
This is the season is here.
Ready,
dude.
boys.
We
here.
It's
we
here.
made it. We made it.
It is finally here. We made it. That's going to do it for us today. Once again, we're going to shout out our sponsors, Pat's Beef Jerky, rocking the t-shirt, rocking the vacuum sealed bag of Pat's Beef Jerky here. And don't forget to use the promo code CATS at checkout at www.patsbeefjerky.com. And then also visit, if you're going to be in Manhattan on game day or the night before game day or the night after game day, go to Annie Mae's Parlor. It's the best bar in Aggieville. You're hearing it from us. It's not, a monopoly on 5 or 10 other bars that are all owned by the same person in Aggieville. Go hit up Annie Mae's. It is the best bar in Aggieville. Tell them that Cocaine Willie sent you. And finally, we are part of the College Huddle, which is the largest community of fan-driven content in the United States of America. Check them out at thecollegehuddle.com and follow them on social media at College Huddle. Last but not least, you can follow our show at Cocaine Willie on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, or follow us individually. I'm at Bob Trollsby. Chef is at Chef Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt is at Matt Marchesini. Chef.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
We are all Coke and no joke. Beat Captain Skyhawk. Wildcat Country.
RKO out of nowhere.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
You're an idiot.
Oh,
he's Gonzo. Dunzo.
I wasn't going to stop the recording.